Well, it's good to be with folks on Facebook and on Zoom, and I usually say on phone too, but we have a phone person who joined us on Zoom today. So at this point, we have no one on phone, but we welcome that as an option. So if anyone wants to be connected by phone, just give me a phone or text or email sometime during the week, and we'll sure dial you up on a Sunday morning. Sure grateful that we are all in warm places this morning. And looks like we have Facebook folks starting to find us. So those on Facebook, we always give you the extra invitation to say a hello and to maybe give a thumbs up and perhaps to push that share button and share the worship service with others in your Facebook friends circle to invite others to be in worship with us. Welcome to worship on this Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day does not always fall on Sunday, you know. That's sort of like Christmas doesn't always land on Sunday either, although Easter always lands on Sunday. We've got all these different holidays that have different ways to connect on when they land, but Valentine's Day is always the 14th of February. Today is also Transfiguration Day. And if you really want to know, it's the 8th day of winter. I don't think you can tell. 8th Sunday of winter. 8th Sunday of winter. So we've got a few more Sundays of winter to come. During worship today, we are blessed that we will have a solo shared by Ina Jo Barker, and that's something that will be available on Facebook as well as Zoom this morning. Since red is a traditional color for Valentine's Day, and we already had red on display for last Sunday that was celebrating the Chiefs being in the Super Bowl, and also celebrating Lawson Cardinals every chance we get and their winter sports. That's the color we have decorating the sanctuary today. Those who are real sticklers about liturgical colors would know that for Transfiguration Sunday, it would be bright colors, like white and gold, and so I consider red a bright color too, especially around Lawson and Chiefs country. Even though the 55th Super Bowl did not turn out to our liking, the 31st Super Bowl of caring was a resounding success. Generous financial donations through Lawson United Methodist Church to the Lawson Food Pantry totaled $750, with every dollar representing a predicted point for our favorite team. So, in the Super Bowl of caring, the predicted score was Chiefs 750, Buccaneers 0. The season of Lent will begin with Ash Wednesday this week. So all are invited to worship online only that evening at 7, and to have a small amount of olive oil or other cooking oil near you at that time. No ashes this year. Even though it's Ash Wednesday, I consider ashes optional, and this is a good year not to have ashes. And I might explain a little bit more about that on Wednesday evening at our Ash Wednesday service. We begin this time of worship on Valentine's Day with a public domain prelude provided by Mary Bertoldi, Love Divine, All Loves Excelling. As the altar candles are lighted, we're reminded that the light of Christ is always shining, here, wherever you are, and everywhere. Amen and amen. What a blessing to share in that special music provided by Mary. And we're blessed that we have that opportunity to hear music wherever we are. I hope to have Facebook folks be able to hear a little bit better as I keep rearranging how we connect each Sunday. I forgot that for Facebook folks, we need the church's sound system in the sanctuary to be playing. So we will have that ready for the next time we share music a little bit later in the service. Today's scripture reading is from the Song of Songs, also called the Song of Solomon, chapter 2, verses 1 through 13. Those who have a Bible handy are invited to follow along while I read an adaptation from the Contemporary English Version. You've also often heard me call that the Missouri English Version because the three main translators did their work in Springfield, Missouri. And so I like to say it's Missouri English translation. The title of this passage, according to the Contemporary English Version, is Love Makes Everything Beautiful. Again, that's the Song of Songs, chapter 2, verses 1 through 13. The Song of Songs is likely best understood when heard as a conversation between a couple who are romantically interested in each other. The first one speaks, "I am merely a rose from the land of Sharon, a lily of the valley." The other one speaks, "My darling, when compared with others, you are a lily among the thorns." Again, the first one speaks, "And you, my love, are an apple tree among trees of the forest. Your shade brought me pleasure, your fruit was sweet. You led me to your banquet room and showered me with love, refreshed and strengthened me with raisins and apples. I am hungry for love. Put your left hand under my head and embrace me with your right arm. Young people, promise me, by the power of deer and gazelles, never to awaken love before the proper time. I hear the voice of the one I love, as you come leaping over mountains and hills, like a deer or a gazelle. Now you stand outside our wall, looking through the window and speak to me, saying, 'My darling, I love you. Let's go away together. Winter is past. The rain has stopped. Flowers cover the earth. It is time to sing. The cooing of doves is heard in our land. Fig trees are bearing fruit, while blossoms on grapevines fill the air with perfume. My darling, I love you. Let's go away together.' Winter is past. The rain has stopped. Flowers cover the earth. It is time to sing. Oh, how we dream. It's a joy to think about all that will be when the winter is past and spring arrives." This is the word of God for the people of God. Thanks be to God. "You're the cutest thing that I ever did see. I really love your peaches, want to shake your tree. Lovey-dovey, lovey-dovey, lovey-dovey all the time. Ooey, baby, I'll sure show you a good time. 'Cause I'm a picker, I'm a grinner, I'm a lover, I'm a sinner. I play my music in the sun." Can't help it. When reading the Song of Songs, the lyrics to that 1970s hit by Steve Miller Band comes to my mind. Steve Miller got sued for plagiarism with that song. Not by the Bible, though I think the Bible was the origin, really, for a lot of that poetic imagery, but by Ahmed Ertegun, who co-wrote some of the same words when part of the 1950s rhythm and blues group, the Clovers, and their song was called Lovey-Dovey, Lovey-Dovey. And it included a lot of that part of the Steve Miller song I just quoted. Steve Miller has always loved the blues since the beginning of his music career, and his group was originally actually known as the Steve Miller Blues Band. Ahmed Ertegun became head of the Atlantic Records, and Steve Miller says, "Hey, I have no problem giving him credit. I don't mind having Ahmed's name beside mine." Sounds like a pretty racy song to me, but not near as racy as a Song of Songs. When visiting with couples while they prepare for the wedding, I often suggest that a way to add romance to their marriage is to read portions of the Song of Songs to one another. Much of this romantic poetry is really actually kind of corny, and so they could share some laughs with each other as well. And what's better than sharing laughs with a couple in love? That certainly can strengthen a relationship. Those who laugh together stay together, I like to say, along with perhaps the better known, those who pray together stay together. This book of the Bible is a wonderful reminder that sexuality is a good gift from God when expressed in a healthy and committed relationship. And here there would be a side note to say, and that's why I like to call it the Song of Songs instead of the Song of Solomon. I kind of think a lot of times, people with power kind of take credit for things that aren't really theirs. And that Song of Solomon, I don't think Solomon wrote all these. I think just common folks like you and I wrote these poems because after all, Solomon wasn't known as someone who had one faithful, committed relationship. He was a king, and therefore he had hundreds and hundreds of wives. And so, again, I don't know, but I would prefer to think that these beautiful songs full of laughter and humor and beauty of romantic relationships comes from just common folks like you and I. For several centuries, many in the church were scandalized by this poetry and the Song of Songs, so they spiritualized it, declaring the Song of Songs was not at all about romantic love, but about only our relationship with God. I believe it can be both. Reading this passage in a spiritualized way inspired Charles W. Fry to write in the late 1800s, "You're the lily of the valley, the bright and morning star. You're the fairest of 10,000 to my soul. I have a friend in Jesus. You're everything to me. You're the fairest of 10,000 to my soul. The lily of the valley, in you alone I see. All I need to cleanse and make me fully whole. In sorrow, you're my comfort. In trouble, you're my stay. You tell me every care on you to roll. You're the lily of the valley, the bright and morning star. You're the fairest of 10,000 to my soul." Charles Fry, who wrote that spiritualized interpretation of the Song of Songs, was a bricklayer who was also a very talented musician who was able to play the violin, the cello, the piano, the cornet, and other instruments. As a Methodist, Charles Fry led an orchestra and band at a Wesleyan chapel in England. Going about his daily duties, he witnessed Salvation Army workers, a new movement that had spun out of the Methodist tradition. He saw Salvation Army workers being mistreated, being teased, being attacked. Charles and his 3 sons offered to serve as bodyguards for the Salvation Army. And the next day, Charles and his 3 sons showed up with their weapons: 2 cornets, a trombone, and a small tuba, which they played in between fighting the troublemakers. Their music attracted a crowd for the preachers, and that's how the first Salvation Army brass band was formed. So yes, the Song of Songs can be interpreted in various helpful ways, including inviting us to a closer relationship with God as our dearest of friends, the finest of 10,000 to our souls, so that we can live a fulfilling life, whether single or married. After all, what little is known about St. Valentine suggests he was very likely single, and he had simply written a note of gratitude to someone who had shown unexpected kindnesses to him. And therefore, centuries later, we continue that beautiful tradition of exchanging cards to those that have helped us along life's journey. My attention was first drawn to this passage of Scripture when a few years ago, a very talented young man volunteered to provide a solo on a Sunday around Valentine's Day, and he chose to sing "Arise, My Love" by Michael Card, a beautiful song that puts to music a poetic version of the Song of Songs. He told me he chose the song for a few reasons. First, his wife requested that he sing it. After all, he had sung that very song to her during their wedding when she processed down the aisle. And he also said he sang it because the anniversary of his parents was around Valentine's Day, and he treasured the example of their relationship of love that he witnessed along his life's journey. Oh, it is Valentine's Day, if you hadn't heard it already. You gotten a card to share gratitude with someone who has shown kindnesses to you? During pre-pandemic days, a couple loved to go shopping together to select their cards for each other. They would carefully look over the various Valentine cards. After selecting just the right cards, they exchanged them and read them right there in the store, saying to each other, "Oh, it's really beautiful, thanks. How very thoughtful. Thank you, dear." They wished each other happy Valentine's Day and kissed. PDA, PDA. Then they returned the cards to the rack and walked out. Talk about cheap dates. A few weeks ago, my wife Jody and I realized this year we would not be looking through card racks in a store. So we agreed we'd shop online for the cards, and we would not look at each other's selections until we were presented with them on Valentine's Day. We kept our word until we went to check out and noticed the online cart showed 2 orders for the same card. I think that shows compatibility, don't you? Or we've just rubbed off on each other after 41 years of marriage. As a wonderful song declares, "We wish for you, our friends, this happiness that we found. We can depend on God. It matters not where we're bound. Let's shout it from the mountaintop. We want the world to know. Let's share God's love with everyone. We want to pass it on." Depending on the faithful love of God is expressed in a beautiful public domain solo prepared for us by Ina Joe Barker, "It Is Well With My Soul." Well, that was an awkward sound, wasn't it? But we're ready now to hear this beautiful solo that expresses God's love, and we'll be able to share it as well with the folks on Facebook and be truly blessed.
When peace like a river attendeth my way, when sorrows like sea billows
It is well with our souls, because we have a special place in the heart of God, that God is our most faithful and trusted Valentine we could ever dream of. How blessed we are to have Ina Joe and Mary and many others share their musical gifts with us all the time. We're also grateful to Sharon Jackson for sharing her organizational gifts to coordinate community blood drives every couple of months. The next one will be this Thursday, February 18th in the Lawson VFW meeting room, and appointments are very strongly encouraged and can be made by going to savealifenow.org or by contacting Sharon or by watching the church Facebook feed, and we'll have reminders of that upcoming opportunity to be people who give of ourselves in this very special way. On this Valentine's Day, it's great to be reminding you that Meredith Tucker, our youth director, has invited her husband Bo to participate during the Tuesdays of February to discuss how to breathe life back into your marriage or relationship. And that's on Tuesdays at 7 o'clock for Worship Express. Also remember the tremendous children's Sunday school that Katie Berger provides each Sunday morning at 9. And of course, all these are available anytime. The videos become part of our Facebook feed and available. Our generous gifts help Lawson United Methodist Church share these and many other ministries and missions. Simplest way to make a financial donation is to write a check and place it in the mail to P.O. Box 127, Lawson, Mo 64062. And we do have the option of PayPal on our church website, www.lawsonumc.org, which also has links to various worship experiences and children's Sunday school opportunities. Remember, the season of Lent does begin this week with Ash Wednesday, so all are invited to worship online only at 7 o'clock that evening, and to have a small amount of olive oil or other cooking oil near you at that time. No ashes this year. I like to say ashes are optional, but the message of Ash Wednesday is certainly central in our lives. As we continue this Valentine week, may we be guided by the true definition of love from 1 Corinthians 13. Love is kind and patient. Love is never jealous, boastful, proud, or rude. Love is not selfish or quick-tempered. Love does not keep a record of wrongs that others do. Love rejoices in the truth, but not in wrongdoing. Love is always supportive, always loyal, always hopeful, and always trusting. Love never gives up. Love is eternal. As we listen to Mary provide a public domain postlude, a traditional English melody, the altar candles will be extinguished as a reminder that we are to be the light of Christ for others.